A very good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome to today's colloquium. And today we are happy to have Dr. Uh, Varshney as our colloquium speaker. And Dr. Varshney completed his master in 1984 from Aligarh Muslim University with university medal for obtaining the first position. And then he carried out research work in University of Delhi between 1985 to 1990. He was awarded Dr. D.N. Wadia Research Fellowship in 1986 for his research on Himalayan geology. Dr. Varshney is a member of several governing bodies as well as committees. So to name a few, so he is a live member of Geological Society of India, Bangalore, Nepal Geological Society, Kathmandu, and a member of International Association of Sedimentologists, Oxford. There are many more in which he is involved. So he was Indian co-chair governing bodies Indo-German Science and Technology Center, as well as Indo-US Endowment Fund. Along with, he is also involved in BRICS. So before superannuations on 31st January 2024, he was the head of the International Scientific Corporation in DST. He joined DST in 1990, and he is involved in various projects. So in its bilateral, multilateral, and regional scientific partners, he is engaged in several of these things. He contributed significantly to the promotion of international scientific as well as scientific cooperations as well as scientific industrial cooperations. So we'll hear from him about India's involvement in several bilateral projects and international projects. So welcome.
Thank you, Subhendu. And thank you, Santosh, for inviting me over here. And friends, today I have been asked to speak on international cooperation, how we can go ahead in this. So what I will tell you today is something very general. What is international cooperation? Or what is the word collaboration means? That is very important for you to understand before you go for international collaboration. So I'll dwell upon what is collaboration, what are the precautions you should take, and then why do we need international cooperation? And in the last part, I will deal with some examples where India is participating in several physics projects, which are of huge dimensions. So first of all, we should understand cooperation varies for different persons. It is different for students. It's different for faculty, different for institution, and different for nations. In fact, at each stage, expectation from the cooperation is very, very different. And I think I can use it. So expectation from cooperation is very different. So, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So I'll not discuss much about a student because I think most of you are scientists over here. But in general, for students taking admissions, especially at postdoctoral level, several things are required. And most particular is how you have defined your research object. That is very important. The second most important thing is the reference letter. Because what happened, universities abroad do not bank upon the mark sheets. Mark sheet may lie because some universities are very liberal, some universities are very conservative. So they go by the reference letter given by your seniors, by your with the team leader with whom you have worked, and who could define what are your strengths, what are the areas which require further improvement. And whenever you are writing a research proposal at PDF level, You must write to the fellow after reading what kind of work that laboratory or that group is doing and how you could contribute to that. Because otherwise you may not get response and you may feel a bit hurted. So to avoid that embarrassment, I normally give example of Gmails. Like how many of you have got Gmail? Just raise your hand. Virtually everyone. And how many emails on Gmail you don't read? Okay. It's same situation. So students need to be cautious. They need to know how to market themselves, how to sell their skill sets, and how to put a positive contribution to any laboratory where they intend to join. It is also important whenever you are joining a new laboratory, you should know what is there for me. Because you are not only expected to contribute, you are also expected to gain something. So you must know what is there for you and why you should approach a particular group. When it comes to faculty, faculty is looking for long-term collaboration. It could be 3 years, 5 years. So many of you I treat as a faculty. You are a scientist, but then you are also a researcher. So you should plan a long-term collaborations. And when you are planning long-term collaborations, several things comes. First, the planning. Second, the funding. Third, how you are going to implement. Because most of the time, even at domestic level, it is our PhD students or young researchers who are doing work for us. Same happens with the international cooperation. The team leaders would define, but hard work has to be done by the youngsters in the group. So you should see how different youngsters, because whenever you are sending someone abroad, you are also providing an exposure. And such exposure you should provide to most of your students, if not all. That is very important. Second thing is you should keep hunting where are the funding opportunities available. There are different sources. It could be your institutional funds, it could be your government funds, it foreign funds, it could be some angel funders within the country or outside country. But whenever you are doing with any external source, you must know why you are doing it. Taking money from them is not bad, but what you are giving them in return, you must be very cautious. So when faculty is normally looking at that thing, when we are talking for the institutes, institute is talking something different. For example, can we have a joint program? Can we have a joint degree? Can we have a common research goal which we can do for very long? Is it possible that our students get exposure on a particular equipment in your institute and your student get exposure in our institute, or vice, whatever way? So institutional dimensions are much different. So why do we need to collaborate? That is important. My recommendation to you is your collaborator should not be your mirror image. The fellow must have slightly different strength than yours, because you are master of your own field, master of your own domain. Nobody, you should feel that much confident that I have everything. You know, when problem comes, problem are not single dimensional. Okay, recently we went through COVID. Was COVID only a health challenge? Or it was a social challenge? Or it was an economical challenge? Or it was a challenge for the pharmaceutical companies or pharmaceutical researchers to find a solutions? So there could be several perspectives. So when you meet a person from different strength, different discipline, the fellow brings in their own perspective which could be different than yours. And this difference could yield to a better idea. So always when you are looking for anything in your life for further development, remember it is important to do something. I hope, I don't know how many of you have seen the ad by Pankaj Kapoor when Maggie introduced hot and sweet tomato sauce. The catch line was, it's different. Okay. So you need to be that different because all of you are doing same job using different equipment. Okay. But someone who gets you a better result is the leader. Now, why should you collaborate? That is another thing. So first point is, of course, seeking complementary knowledge. Like if I am collaborating with a different fellow, like you are a physicist, you are talking to a chemist or a biologist or a mathematician, or within physics, you are astrophysicist talking to see condensed matter physics, or you are talking to solid state physics, or you are trying to get complementary knowledge. You are learning from each other, both of you. Okay, that provides you an upper hand. Second thing is you can share responsibility. So if you have defined a goal, let us say project, you could divide. This is what you would be doing, this is what I would be doing. So that way you can save time, you can save cost, and you can still reach desired goal. Exposure. If your collaborator is in an institute outside yours, you get an exposure. Each institute has got different kind of work ethics. And you will find it whenever you are going to different institutions, their approach, their benchmark of acceptance, everything is different. Also, collaboration helps you in getting exposure to the equipment installed in your collaborating institute. So this is another reason why people are collaborating. And then, of course, constantly, the purpose is that our younger generation should be better exposed. They get skill development and all those kind of things. This is one kind of thing which I say bottom up or individually driven. But there are times when you are directed that, okay, we should do cooperation. And this direction could come from your institute, from your ministry, from another department in the ministry. Okay. And there we are looking for two benefits. What is the research benefit and what is the business benefit? So we should have very clear idea why we are doing it. Sometimes you may not realize what is the benefit, but it is the government priority. We want to do diplomacy. We want to gain more friends. And I will ask you, okay, why don't you work with Senegal? Or why don't you work with Mozambique? You may not be interested. Why should I work? But then government wants to develop relations. Okay. And when I was sitting on my last year, I was always exploring why you should not collaborate with countries which are not developed. So it is a priority because the way you are seeing to American or European country, they are also seeing to you. Okay, we should have an access. So diplomatic region or sometime maybe a push. You say, I have absolute no interest, but then somebody in the system will say, okay, no more grant to you until you do this. Plain and simple. So it could be several reasons why you should do it. See this picture very carefully. Collaboration does not mean that you share it all. No. Collaboration means that you have agreed for certain goals and only work related to that needs to be shared. In terms of IP, there are two terms which we are using, background IP and foreground IP. So background IP belongs to you. You are not supposed to share it. Foreground IP, only the part which you are collaborating. You see, as an individual researcher, you may be doing 5 things with 5 students. All of them you are not sharing with a different group or different collaborator. So why your collaborator should know about all those 5? So you have to be very cautious in the beginning. So when you are drafting a proposal, several things are there which you must be cautious, and you must address those issues. And these are like, who will take credits and who would be responsible if something goes bad. Okay, so ideally there are 2 kind of scenario. In one scenario, there is one leader. The fellow could be Indian or could be a collaborator. Okay. On second thing is, both are equal partner. So you must know who are you. Okay. And who should take such credits or responsibility. Second thing is, sometimes you will find friends or collaborators who are very kind-worded. Very nicely they will speak to you. They will promise you the moon. And once it comes to delivery, they will say, my institutional guidelines or my national guidelines do not permit it. Didn't that fellow knew it in advance? He or she knew it. But why the fellow didn't? So you may face such music in your life. So it is always important to take prior action for that. There could be disagreement over publication or how you are going to handle IP. Because what happens, each one of us has a different perception where our research should go, in what journal, at what level, and benchmark of acceptance is different for each one of us. There may be a fellow who may feel, oh, I have done this small work and the entire world should know. I don't care whether it goes in a high index paper or a low index paper, but it must go. Some other fellow may say, no, it's not good. We must consolidate it. We must make it worth such and such paper. And only then we will share it with the world. Third fellow may say, no. Only generation of knowledge is not adequate. We must connect it to some SDGs. We must connect it to the society. We must connect it to the market. Only after that, we should publish. So, level could be different, perception could be different. So this is something we need to work out in advance, how we are going to handle it. And then each one of us has got different speed of working. And we know we can achieve such and such goal in such and such period. And other fellow would take longer or shorter to achieve same goal. So we must know how to get into sync. Okay, so getting in sync is very important. And then I think this point I have already said, what is the different benchmarking or how you say that this is different proof, and also what is your research, for whom you are working, why you are working. So these are all perceptional differences, or I'll not say even differences. These are perceptional issues which you must discuss with your collaborator so that when you are working on the project, these issues do not come. And what makes the collaboration works? Of course, you should know why I am doing this project. What is there for me in it? So if you know this thing very clearly, it will help you to go further. And then you should know for which activity who is in charge. So when you have done a project, you have divided it into several milestones. For each milestone, be responsible. Who is the person who would be responsible for milestone 1, milestone 2, milestone 3? That will help you in taking it forward. And then there is impact of size. Somebody may put larger investment or may say, I have got facilities, so you have to follow me. It's not true. We must know, because how we are collaborating, if we are equal partner, we have equal say in all of them. But most important thing is communicating with your partner. Unlike yesterday, when communication was a real challenge, today we have got emails, we have got video calling, but still we are not communicating. It is important that you set up a frequency. Once in a week, once in a month, once in 3 months, we are going to sit together and discuss what we have done in this project. Until you are communicating one-to-one, you and your partner may vary at length what you are doing and what other fellow is doing. So communication is the key. So you may even inform some development or some excitement, but it is important that you schedule your meeting in an organized way, and at a agreed frequency, you are interacting with your collaborator. Now, sometimes there is a question that when you are implementing a project, you may be required to change the goals or the project design. So who will take this call? Remember what I said, 2 things. Either you are equal partner or somebody is the leader. If you are equal partner, both partners or a number of partners must take a decision, yes, we need to change in the design. If there is a leader, then there is no issue. The leader will decide. Who writes the paper? Now, this is something very important. All of us have different players. Somebody can write well, somebody can speak well, somebody can make good paper presentations. But when the credit goes, all of you are involved, all in the consortia. So each one of you, even if you have contributed a part, you are responsible for the entire activity. So if publication comes, you can't say, no, I did only this much. If publication comes in your name, it means the entire paper you owe a responsibility. Okay, so you should know. So somebody, whosoever is good in your group, the fellow writes, but each one of you must make presentation. Even if presentation is made by, first presentation is made by the fellow who is best in the group, but then each one of you should own that presentation and should make it, because otherwise you will lose your control, your grip, your understanding of the project. That is very important. Another critical issue is how authorship would be decided. This is something like Hobson's choice, if I could. And there are different formulas. Like in a paper, if contribution of an particular author is more, then the fellow is given credit as the first author. Other becomes secondary. Sometimes it is alphabetical. Some other time by rotation. Okay, in one paper you are first, in second. But you need to agree. Whatever way you go ahead, you must agree in the beginning that, okay, this is how we are going to do it. How the IP would be handled, that is another issue. And equally important is who will preserve the data once project is done. Okay, now these are the issues you must handle, you must address, and they will help you in going long way. Also, when you are working, it's not only you who is collaborating, it is also your institute who is equally responsible. Remember, our identity is reduced by 70% if we are not attached to an institution. Okay. So you as an individual is only an individual. Once you are backed by an institution, people see the brand image of the institution. Okay. So you need to protect that brand image. So you must say that once institute is involved, we need to have agreements for various purposes. It could be material transfer agreement, IP agreement. So each institute has got an IP policy. I hope you have also got it. So you need to follow that. And also, in some cases, there are some compliances or ethical clearances which are required, which we need to follow. And if there are something which is restricted by the export control agencies, then that also need to be addressed. And then we should ensure that we are not doing anything in conflict of interest with our own institution. Okay. And nobody else will tell you except your own consciousness that if it is in conflict of interest. Most important thing is you must know when to close the collaboration. And closing the collaboration does not mean that you are not shaking hand with that group, with your collaborator in future. No. You have identified a project, that project needs to be closed. Project cannot be open-ended. Okay, so you have agreed for a project for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, whatever duration you have agreed. After that, it must be closed and you must take up a new activity. So it is very important because otherwise you will be perennially locked. You will never come out of it. Okay, so it is important that you must close it. When you are working with industries, there are issues, especially with regard to publication, because industry wants to take first mover advantage. Okay, you have developed a product, they would like to make money using their monopoly, and that will not allow you to publish. Okay, so you must know when you are working with industry, what are your rights and how you can make best out of it. And when you are working with international partners, be as cautious as you are with the industry, but then you have also to see that security sensitivity aspects. And also there are several guidelines for data and reagents with regard to safety, shipping, export control, and those kind of things. So that you must ensure. And then you should have a collaboration management plan, which should include finishes, like who is going to pay for what, and where the equipment will come, who will travel, how you will travel, those kind of things. Training and supervision of all staff, that is very much required. Because as I said, that we must train youngsters. Most of the work would be done by the students. So you must see how they are being impacted. And then if you require any agreement, formal agreement, go for it. And also for required clearances. I'm not sure in your science it is required, but mostly it in biological or medical sciences it is required. The core thing is each stakeholder must feel a win-win situation, because collaboration is not only for you, it's also for your partner. And if the partner doesn't see cherry in it, the partner will not put heart and soul. So you must ensure that there is everything, everyone has to gain out of that collaboration. So when we are looking at government level that why we should go for collaboration, first thing is value addition. So all of us, we are involved deeply in our projects, and we must see how we are going to augment it further. So remember one thing, you must be standing on your own feet which means you must have a good understanding of your subject at home. Then only you can go for collaboration. Otherwise, you are going for training. Okay. So you must be on your own feet. Second, we would like to gain competitiveness. Okay. I'll give you another example just from COVID once again. We saw 3 companies who entered the market first with the preventive vaccines. They took the entire world as a market, and they did not allow others to come in. They did not allow others means that is a commercial strategy, but they came first and took the market. That is research, scientific research. Okay. The world belongs only to them who report it first. Who was third person on the moon? Nobody bothers. Okay. You remember only the first person, at the most second person, but nobody remembers subsequent person. So research, time is the key. Third thing is addressing global challenges. There are issues, especially in your sciences, when you are collaborating you are making observation from different geographical points. It is very important that you are in terms with those countries so that you can make studies from that particular geographic locations. Participation and access to mega science projects or major projects. I'll discuss some of them little later. Promoting innovation and in techno entrepreneurship. That is another reason why we are going for. And then technology development. You see, so far, of course, yours is basic science, but in several other sciences also, we have observed our people are more happy to publish. They are not interested to convert that knowledge into a product. So now government has put a lot of encouragement that you should convert your knowledge into some product. We are going for technology development, and we are connecting innovation model to gain access to the market. So when I was talking to you, go to Africa, go to Asia, indirect idea is diplomacy is one part, but secondly, that is easy way to capture their market. I sell my science to them, they understand it, immediately they buy my product. So this is the way how I can enter. And then also we are looking to create world-class facilities in our places. For example, your own Devsthal, you may see how many collaboration have come and which have helped you to reach that status. So in nutshell, what we can say, we are looking to co-share objective and mutualities, co-investing in values, mitigating gap areas, addressing techno-social priorities. And remember, most of the products we are going to use in time to come are going to be technology products. Each day you will find more and more technology products in your life. So collaboration is going to be the underpin things. Have a look in this map. These are our current partners. So, is a pointer nahi na? Hey. No, it's not coming. So if you see, we have got partners all around, and then we have got some platforms where we are available. And then these are some of the major facilities. Yeah. So, it's very slow. And no problem. No problem. So remember, countries, I hope each one of you understand, these platforms are political platforms. They're not scientific platforms. But we have developed good amount of cooperation in science on those platforms. This provides us another opportunity of interacting. And these are some of the major projects where India is either member or associate member. Now, first is bilateral cooperation. This is country 1 to country 2. So India has got arrangement with around 80 countries. 44 of them are quite active. Okay. But you should keep your eyes open for all 80 countries. Normally, the way is that we shall be inviting proposals, and then you would be writing. But my suggestion to you is, don't wait for call, whether by DST or by atomic energy or by some other. The moment you have identified a potential partner in any part of the world, check with various funding agency what kind of program they have got. Because normally when call is made open, it would be open only for 2 months. And 2 months is not a good period to design a robust proposal. What you can do is to submit it in haste, which would be rejected by the reviewers. Okay. So you must take your own time. And remember, most of the calls are annual in character. So if you miss this bus, next bus would be there. You will not be left. But it is very important that you work out a good proposal. Second one is regional. As I said, most of these platforms, European Union, ASEAN, SAARC, BIMSTEC, Indian Ocean Rim, so these platforms are there. But on all of them, we have built a scientific platform. Now, of course, we are building up another group which is more science oriented. For example, International Solar Alliance, Mission Innovations. So we are developing that thing, and very soon there would be much larger things. But currently, most of them are politically driven. But these are a platform for you, easy platform for you to collaborate with researchers from the member countries. Third is that we are holding membership of several organizations. Non-aligned movement, Science and Technology Center, the World Academy of Sciences, International Center for Theoretical Physics, UNESCO, UN Council, several bodies we are member. And you can participate in their program. You should look for their program, what they have got to offer in your sciences. And see, you will find several kind of trainings, several kind of exposures, or several kind of designed experiments which you can perform. And then these are some of the facilities, not all, but some of the facilities where India is a member, and you are welcome to conduct your experiments over there. Normally, in each such experiment, there is a time allocation committee which will look at your experiment design, and then based on that, they will approve or disapprove. Now, the principles of corporations. So there are 3 kinds of cooperation we are doing currently. One is synergy. Synergy we are doing with most of the developed countries, whether US, Canada, European country, Australia, Japan, Korea. So all developed country, we are doing the program under synergy mode. And idea is both party would contribute. Contribute does not mean only financially, also intellectually. And both parties would gain from the outcome, like authorship to the papers or patents or whatever it comes out. That is our model number 1. Model number 2 is diplomacy, where we are trying to help friendly countries to bring up their scientific status and do some more activity in their part of the world. So here we have taken most of the developing or least developing countries. It includes countries in Africa, Latin America, Asia, mostly. Third is where we are going for technology development. And this we are doing with select countries, select developed countries, where our group could get exposure to how to convert scientific research into a meaningful technology product. There are several tools which we are using for international cooperations. The most important is networking. Whenever you are trying to develop a new collaboration, it is very important that both partners know each other. Normally, platforms like workshops, symposia, they provide you an opportunity to meet and interact. Fellowships could also do that. Sometime you will get visited by some eminent scientists who will give lecture and you can get understanding, interact with them. One of my advice, personal advice, workshops, seminars, they are important undoubtedly, but breaks in those seminars, symposium are more important than the main session. Main session, you only get sermons, nothing else. But your break time, you interact informally with a fellow to whom you have listened. Okay, and that is where you can gain access to develop new collaboration. So use all those times. So remember, there is no free lunch. So lunch is not free for you. And lunch is the right time to do new business, develop new collaborations. There is support available for projects, mobility, trainings, advanced facilities. We are also supporting for facilitating joint R&D clusters, consortia project, and those kind of things, and also pre-commercials. So there are different kind of formats we are using. But remember, all of them are not used for all the countries. It all depends how our partner is looking forward and how we should take control of it, keep control of the time. I have no idea because some people started going. So when we are looking for, okay, capacity development, actually that part is more colder maybe because of AC. Yeah. So for capacity building, there are several things which we are doing: fellowship, seminars, training, summer school, winter schools, and also creation of virtual centers. So these are essentially for development of human capacity, and you must utilize each one of them in your own way. Then, going back to my list of technology synergy, we have got two kind of partners: partner mentioned on the left and partner mentioned on the right. Partner mentioned on the left, India has got multi-agency program with these countries. So you will get many calls from different agencies at different times. You should know which is the most appropriate agency for your kind of work. Okay, so every 2 months, 3 months, you will get a call from this. On the other hand, these countries, you will get something like once in a year. Very often, you will find your area of research mentioned in their call. Sometimes it will not be there. Now, if it is not there, don't get disappointed. You should tell to the concerned agency that your area with that country is equally important, so the next call they could include it. Because what happens most of the time, funding agencies will go by the interest they have received from scientific community. And if you have not raised your voice, chances are you would be missed. So in order to not miss it, either you start making a noise when you have identified a potential partner or soon thereafter. And in case in between a call comes and your area is not mentioned, you can point it to the concerned agency so that in the next call they could correct it. Now, when we are talking about diplomacy, we have got several initiatives like Africa Initiative. a specific program for our neighborhood countries, working in Far East or Act East policy, which we have taken, and also South America we are working. So what we are doing is, under technology diplomacy, we have introduced several programs like fellowships. So a lot of researchers from that part of the world could come and work in our institution. This is an asset to us, because normally you will not get exposure to those countries because you are not too much keen to visit them. But when they come here, they come with their problems, and you get a tacit exposure. Training means that your institute is linked to one partner institution, and you act as a foster mother. You help them in raising the infrastructure, guide them how they could come. Training program or technology transfer which we are organizing. For our neighborhood countries, there is a special fellowship program. We have bilateral program with some of them, but more open than that, we are inviting their fellows to come and work in India. And then with all ASEAN countries, we are working. South America also we are working. Technology development, which is unlike technology synergy, here we are more focused on developing products. So we are asking to get involvement of industries. So it is industry and academia which works together. And we are looking for these programs. And we have a very special program, what we are calling techno-entrepreneurship. This we are doing only with 3 countries as of now: France, Finland, and US. And idea is even the youngsters with the ideas, they should be exposed to each other's market, the marketing practices, the several regulatory things which they need to go. And then we have created innovation platforms, several innovation platforms at international level, one for ASEAN, one for BRICS countries. Several industrial R&D programs are being launched through us. And then with 2 countries, we have started in Africa that not only will train them in science and technology, but will also help them in techno-entrepreneurship. With some countries, we have got dedicated funds. Out of these, the fund with Israel is the biggest. But as you may recall, Israel talks only in terms of money. So if they are putting $10, they are looking to make at least $12, $15. So they would not like to work in an area where they can't get immediate returns. Australia, Hungary, Portugal, and ASEAN, on the other hand, are different programs. We are also sponsoring some prizes. So BRICS Young Innovator Prize, Ramanujan Prize, which is considered mathematics Nobel, equivalent to Nobel in mathematics, Grassroots Innovation Prize. And these are our delivery partners. CEFIPRA, Indo-US Forum, Indo-German Science and Technology Center, Technology Development Board, and also SERB. Of course, now SERB is not there. It would be replaced by NRF. How does the industry program works? We broadly call it 25% model. So 25% by Indian industries, 25% by the Indian government, 25% by the participating foreign industry, and 25% by the government. And then we are looking for new IP, process, prototype, and products to be coming to our market. And these centers which we are running, it is something like Aries. Ministry is connected only through GB. Okay, your day-to-day affairs are maintained by your own director with the help of scientific council. Okay, so there is no interference. The way we are doing is that we are identifying a country with whom DST would get engaged first, do the agreement on behalf of Government of India. And once DST has done, then government will constitute a body, which could be Joint Commission, Joint Council, whatever name you give it. After that, DST would design a program which would be implemented through what we call PACs. Then several other agencies can also develop their program for the period. We are member of a number of multilateral agencies. Some of them you might have heard a bit loud, which India had the presidency, for example, G20 or Shanghai Cooperation or Indian Ocean Rim or ASEAN, but we have programmed in each one of them. And when you are exploring your options for engagement with these countries, you will know more. One of the common requests several agencies in the government receive when students, faculty would like to go and make a presentation in an international conference. So several agencies are supporting these things. I can tell you how it is being done in SERB. We have divided vertically into two parts. One is 35 and above. So 35 and above, we are providing only travel money, which means travel, visa, and medical insurance. For less than 35, we are providing also the registration fee, which takes care of your accommodation and food. We are providing this support once in 3 years. And for students, it is ideally recommended that they should have at least one paper published prior to this in a refereed journal. Basic idea is student must know how to present research. And for faculty, we are looking at last 5 years. There are a lot of fellowships at doctoral and postdoctoral level with whom we have done agreements. So Raman Chapak is for France, Korea, Japan, Australia. Australia is a bit dominant at the moment, and UK, and then SIRE is for the mid-career faculty. So for 2 to 6 months, they could go abroad. Then there are programs, for example, with industry, you can go to German industry. Female researchers could join ongoing program with Germany, nano program, paired fellowship we have started. And then there are some other opportunities which are not called fellowship, but for example, meeting with your peers. So BRICS Young Scientist meeting each year. So BRICS presidency, whichever country is doing, they will identify themes and then we'll invite. Frontier of Science, Frontier of Engineering, they are very interesting concept where we are inviting young achievers from different disciplines to discuss interdisciplinary subject and how they could develop more comprehensive projects. We are also sending our young participant to meeting with Nobel laureates. So Lindau Nobel laureate meeting is cyclic in order, 1 year physics, 1 year chemistry, 1 year biology and medicine. So accordingly, we are inviting proposal. Hope meeting is being held in Japan, and Asian Science Camp keeps on visiting several Asian cities. India hosted in 2019 at Bangalore. Besides that, I'll give you some snapshot of some of the fellowship being offered to us by other nations. So this is from Japan. In all STEM subject, University of Okinawa, they offer this internship. So your master student could go and work over there. A Fulbright Nehru Doctoral Fellowship is for United States, up to 6 months. So you must be registered, candidate must be registered in India for PhD and should design how for a period of 2 to 6 months, a fellow could carry out certain experiment in the United States. For those who are working in climate subject, now climate does not mean only climate. You see the list is quite large. Clean energy, energy transition, health, climate finance, climate justice. So a lot of subjects are there. Okay, how you are contributing to the climate understanding. So you could go for, again, same thing for a period of up to 6 months. Even several companies have come up with this idea that they could support research. So obviously, these companies are supporting research in their area. If you see my LinkedIn posts, I'm doing it regularly. So yesterday I have posted one by Asian Paints. So they are looking for fellows who are doing research in paint technologies. So obviously each researcher, each company is selfish that way, and they are supporting research in their domain. Even tomorrow when NRF would come, NRF, because it will attract a lot of funding from industry. So there may be some reorientation in the research program they are looking for. So this is a PhD fellowship program from Japan. One could get a lot of support for that. At postdoctoral level in Germany, so of course there are several other fellowship like Humboldt, DART. Okay, so need to finish up. So this fellowship is there. Postdoctoral, US, you can go up to a period of 2 years. I'm sorry, rushing up because there's less time now. Fulbright, Humboldt, Newton, Erasmus, Marie Curie, DART, even several other countries like Belgium, Poland, Hungary, Australia, they also offer fellowships. And several other agencies in our own country like UGC, Education, DBT, Earth Sciences, they are also offering fellowships. Not only we are offering, getting fellowship for our fellow, also we are attracting a lot of fellows to come and work in India. This include our neighbors, ASEAN, African, French, Korea, UK, JSPS, and Australia. And also we have started program like Vajra, Spark, Bebhav, where we could attract best of the global faculty. Well, coming to the physics part, India is participating in several projects, and these facilities are primarily CERN, nuclear physics, ELECTRA, low energy accelerator. For your community, I think FAIR, TMT, LIGO, SK, and NLST, they are more important. So I think I can skip CMS, will hardly have any interest. Fermilab, no interest, I suppose. ELECTRA, we can escape. Now, TMT is 30-meter telescope. This is an upcoming facility. We have joined the consortia 10 years ago, and this is still in construction phase. So you have got 2.6 or 3.6, 3.6, 3.6 meter, and this is 30-meter telescope. So imagine how it would be, and it would be in Hawaii region. And right now, collectively, you can see, your director is in full knowledge of this, how you can participate. Right now, once the construction phase is on, you could design what kind of equipment Aries could contribute so that it has ownership in time to come. So there are two kinds of contribution. One is cash contribution, one is in-kind contribution. So when we are talking about in-kind contribution, it is the equipment which we are supplying to all these facilities. We have also agreed to set up a LIGO facility. This would be in Maharashtra, Hingoli district. Okay, so there are only 3 facilities of LIGO, 2 in United States, 1 in India. And they are negotiating now one with Australia. So this is again in construction phase right now. And grant have been sanctioned by the government. And Department of Atomic Energy has taken lead, and we are going to do it. A square kilometer array. This is a project being done in Australia and South Africa, and India is a member. Again, this is in construction phase, and this is the right time to invest in terms of equipment. And you can air your views, what kind of collaboration Aries could look at in this program. And then we are trying to bring it a new solar telescope in Ladakh. In fact, I wanted to add your Devastal project also and I had talked to your director a number of times, if we can open them for global community so that people could come. And I understand there are some restrictions on certain equipment, why foreigners could, or only a particular uh, foreigner from particular country could come. But then in future, you should keep it open, because if you continuously get foreign researchers to come to your institution, you can develop much more collaborative proposals. I think this is the last one. We have done lot of studies in terms of mapping, how scientific cooperation could go. This list is quite dynamic, and depending upon the response which we receive, we keep changing. And these are some of the examples of, just to tell you how it's done. So we have not only developed product, we have developed institutions, we have developed several programs. And now the future thing is that we are looking to get more engaged with Africa in terms of technology transfer program, with France for thematic network center, with Germany on beamline and civil security, with Italy on beamlines. Japan, we want to create more joint science labs with Portugal, tissue engineering and oceanography. I think with this, I would like to close.
Let's thank Dr.
Friends,
Varshney.
friends, I have not told you in depth about any specific program, because that would require one more full hour lecture. So if you have any questions on any particular program, you are most welcome to ask now or later. So my email is there, but I'm open to questions as long as your time permits. I was told your bus is there. So
yeah, I think the informations are very useful for the students as well as us, because there's so many fellowship informations are there. So any questions or anything that students wants to ask, or
yes.
Hi, sir. I like this talk so much. I wanted to ask uh, these calls, these proposals calls, and these fellowship opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that they are advertised at DST sites.
They are not only DST, it could be different sources.
Yeah, it could be different sources, but uh, like we get opportunities of postdoc opportunities in a newsletter by different agencies. So that kind of thing can it be implemented from DST as well, so that every institute gets a newsletter every month, or twice a month, so that we get updated with the opportunities we have, so that
I'll ask you a very simple question.
yes, sir.
Can you report work done by Indian Institute of Astrophysics from ARIES?
Report, but by what? I mean,
You know, this is something better said. If somebody should do it for you, then you
yes.
do it for yourself.
Yeah, yes, I
You see,
understand.
there are so many agencies. Each agency is responsible for their own work. Okay, they can assimilate information about their own activity in a very broader way. For example, if you take about DST, DST is not in a position even today to assimilate information and propose uniform guideline to all of its institutions. Guideline at ARIES may be different than guideline at JNCSR. Okay, so that's a practical challenge.
Okay.
Okay, coming to fellowship, they come from different sources.
Okay.
Now, suppose you say that DST should do it for a fellowship being given by another government agency, and they did not advertise it on time. Where would you, whom would you blame? Oh, DST did not notify it. No. Right now, when we are in the phase of transition from SCRB to NRF, no new scheme is coming up. Okay. There are different situations. What we can do, and we are doing, all fellowships from the science ministry are placed on one platform. They are there. Okay. But we cannot be responsible for other organ of the government or for other agencies, including foreign agencies. We would not like to place that. Individually, there are people who are doing such efforts, and you will find it on social media,
Okay.
such information. Even I am trying my bit. I can't claim I am doing for everyone, but whatever I come to know, I am doing.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a very interesting talk. I have a question regarding the program which you had mentioned about our neighboring countries.
Yes.
So what we've seen in the recent times is that we get a lot of emails from our neighboring countries like Sri Lanka and Nepal. The students who are in their undergraduate or their master's courses, because they don't have exposure or resources available in their countries, they're very much willing to come to India and work in institutions for about a few months, gain some exposure, learn something, and do actual research. Like 2 days back itself, I got an email, and that person had written a very interesting, produced a very interesting document also. So if for even at the level of undergraduate and master's students for the neighboring countries, if we can have some resources available to them, like if some travel support could be given to them or in any other form. So I don't know the details of the existing program,
Okay.
at what level it
So
supports.
we are doing a program called iTech. So what I mentioned here was only for researchers, so which is not applicable to undergraduate or master's students. But for them, there is a program called iTech. It is from Ministry of External Affairs. So they are providing 2 months to 2 year exposure to India. So you can inform all such candidates to look at the website of Indian Embassy in their country, and there they can ask for when the next iTech call is going to be made. So iTech is, if I could say, International Technical Exposure of Countries. iTech, it is something like that. And even you can see at MEA website, you can Google iTech MEA and it will give you the information. So it is applicable to all countries which are developing countries or least developing countries. So you will not find iTech slots with developed countries. Basic idea of providing iTech is to attract youngsters from other country to come to India for education. A major focus is on Indian arts, Indian dances, Indian folk, but on our request, at least 20% slots are reserved for science and technology or education. So you can encourage them to look at that.
Thank you.
And in case you are doing some bilateral project, you can always invite them under that. And if you get request from ASEAN member countries, we are providing fellowship even at master level, not to undergraduate. Yes, please.
Something related to her
Yeah.
question. So, for example, if this neighboring country students wants to join PhD in our institution, what should be the procedure? Because generally speaking, what we require is Indian citizen and
No.
what,
For
I
these
mean,
countries, being Indian citizen is not necessary.
I mean, for example, what we advertise is that they have to qualify JSNet gate or something like that.
No. The Ministry of Education has launched a major program to internationalize our campuses. And in fact, they have offered large number of fellowships, but mostly they are in IIT, NIT, and ISIS. Okay, but iTech program could be added. So if MEA won't mind even supporting full degree program, so if you are taking, so I think There are questions, and also there are discussions within DST if we should launch our own PhD program and even PDF open to all participants from around the world. But it is still in the discussion stage. Right now, existing platform, either ITech or if you get deemed university status, then education also. Right now, ARIS is not deemed university. So you are not eligible right now.
I have a question. So, like, if you consider astronomy, so there are many journals, like there are some good journals who have now switched to open access or gold open access regime, and there are some more who would like switch in the next few months or in the coming years. So it becomes a kind of like if you talk about say PhD students or early career researchers, it becomes a bit difficult. Like unless you are like you can request for waivers, but suppose you don't get them, and you in some sense you are discouraged to approach to publishing in those journals. So has DST or the organizations thought about like some agreements with some of those
Well, this question does not pertain to this talk.
yeah.
It's altogether a different questions on publishing and getting support for your so-called open access, or if I could be little harsh, predatory journals. Okay, a lot of people approach. I have done a work which particular journal is willing to publish, but requires such and such support. So why I can't debit my contingency for that? Okay, it is more as per your institutional policy. Okay, nobody else can play a role because your ministry, like DST, doesn't know which journal is good, which is not good. And this is not a problem related to astronomy alone, everywhere. Simultaneously, I must say, there are good quality journals still available. Why don't you send your paper there? Why do you think that only by paying you can get a good impact? I'm not saying that government is not considering, but government is keenly worried. Government supports your research, government supports its publication, and publishers make money out of it. That revenue doesn't come back to the government. So it's a mafia, publishing mafia. Okay. So we are quite concerned about this. And if you recall, we had talked about open access, open science policy, where we have also asked that there would be no more individual or institutional subscription of journal, and we will go for one nation, one subscription, so that each student, each researcher has a right to know what is written, what is there as a published information. See, currently what is happening, you get access only to the journal which are subscribed by your institution. And suppose you go to IIT or ISC, they are having more access. The publisher doesn't want that because they feel a lot of money will go. They can't make. So it's a, I'll not say dialogue, it's a conflict. And until we reach a position where I can tell you with certainty, of course, nothing to do with today's talk, but there are discussions on that. But I would recommend you to go for free journals, which may be little difficult than open access.
Yeah, I can add to his point. Actually, in astronomy, astrophysics, there are main three journals, high impact journals. But one recently just went to this open access because of the open access policy, Royal Astronomical Society journal. So they just now started charging.
No.
I think that's why the student, because most of the paper was, since it was free few months back, so people are publishing, but that is the best of it. Yeah, so just to add, so that I think it was question, but it was not related to this one. So anyway, so any questions? I think if there's none, then you can let's again thank
Thank you.
and